Hello and welcome to Witchy Shit and Manga Lit with Cartabus and Rawiyah. We are back again this week and we are talking about I don't know and stuff. So what are we talking about this week, Carta?
We are going to talk about Burnout this week.
Ooh, yes, Lord. I have a gospel to lay down on that bitch. Yes, let's talk about Burnout. Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're going to talk about that and also the way that social media affects burnout,
Mm.
because that's something that is
Whew.
new and different and a lot of people aren't prepared for,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a space where you're putting yourself out there. So I think that that's going to be an important topic. And in terms of media, I want to go back to the well of smut because I'm tired and I need to talk about something I'm comfortable with.
Okay. That
Like
all
I
makes
need
sense, y'all. So we're gonna talk about burnout and smut. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
All
How are
right.
you? What have you been reading? What have
I
you
have
been
not
consuming?
been reading. I have been watching stuff this week, for the past couple weeks actually. I binge watched 3 shows
Hmm.
outside of what we were watching together. And started a new show. So I
Oh.
have things to talk about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first show that I watched was School Babysitters,
Mm-hmm.
and it is literally the cutest thing. It is adorable. It is a balm to my soul. It
Mm.
like it had me crying from being too happy. That's how good that one is.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. It's super sweet. It's super cute. The plot is this kid and his baby brother lose their parents
Mm-hmm.
to an accident, like a plane accident or something. And the headmistress of this school decides to take them in. So they live with her and her butler. And she's like, so you're going to be going to my school, but in exchange, you're going to babysit the other kids with your brother during your downtime. That'll be your club, is babysitting. And
Okay.
he was like, well, I mean, I take care of my little brother all the time anyway. Sure, this is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes a friend, and the friend starts coming to the club too. And the person who's in charge of the kids normally is this guy who's kind of lazy. He sleeps all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
it's
like
just,
gym teachers.
yeah. Like gym teachers, but he has a baby on his chest constantly because he's
Oh.
in charge of the infant. And
Mm-hmm.
he kind of puts Kashima in charge of the other toddlers, and they're just
Mm-hmm.
so cute. And the his friend is the older brother of one of the other kids, and they have kind of a contentious relationship because the little brother loves him so much, but it's annoying to him because he's like, yes, I love you too, now shut up and leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. But because of their personalities, it makes sense. And you can tell even though he's gruff and kind of tsundere, he actually does care about his brother, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
super cute. There's nothing else to it. It's just some dudes taking care of kids. That's it. It's the whole plot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
That
no
sounds
over
cute.
yeah, there's no overarching plot. It was just a really gentle show. And then I watched Mashal, the Magic and Muscles show, and it's so stupid. I adored it. It was funny and ridiculous. An example. So there is this guy, they're fighting a bunch of other wizards. It's basically if you took Harry Potter and removed all the transphobia and then added in muscle heads for no reason, that's
Mm-hmm.
what this show would be. Because it's a
Oh,
magic
nice.
school. He
Mhm.
goes to a magic school. There's different magic houses. One magic house is full of assholes. And he goes and fights them for coins to become like king of the wizard world, basically.
Mhm.
Anyway, so at the second to the last episode, this random character shows up named John Pierre, not Jean Pierre, John Pierre. And he just shows up and says, I'm Jean Pierre, the serial killer. And you're like,
What?
what? Not only that, but like his weapon of choice is literal kitchen cutlery that he just makes big and throws at people.
Mm-mm.
It's so dumb and great, and I love it. And yeah, but he only shows up for like 1 second, and that's it.
Mhm.
And you never see him again.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what a great intro. What the hell? And just like every single part of the show is wonderful, except they do have a recap episode, which I'm not a huge fan of. Um,
Mhm.
but other than that, yes, I very much enjoyed it. It was silly. It was fun. Like everybody was involved. Like they had a good time.
Mhm.
And we also watched Sweet Incarnation, which was yet again another trash isekai because I have yet to win in trying to get Kurt to watch Demon Slayer. I will one day.
Come on,
I,
Kurt.
I will one day. You can do it. Um,
Just one episode. One episode. Just one.
oh my god. Yeah, so we watched Sweet Reincarnation, and it was adorable. It was about this guy who was a pastry chef, dies, and reincarnates in another land, and decides he's going to be a pastry chef there. Except his name is literally Pastry. The
Mm.
character's name is Pastry, and they call him Pace as a shortening of his name. And his father's name is Casserole, and his right hand man is named Sheets, and the kid gets betrothed to a girl named Licorice. It's silly,
Mhm.
but it's cute,
Mhm.
and overall not a waste of time. It was fun to watch. And then after I finished Mashal, though, I was looking around for other shows to watch, and sometimes he'll like sit next to me and watch stuff. So I'm like going through, and I'm like, well, this one looks silly and not like something he would like. I'll put it on. And it was called The Dragons Hunting for a New House,
Mhm.
Dragon House Hunting or something. And I started watching it, and he looks up and he's like, yeah, no, you're not watching this one by yourself either. I'm like, damn it. Stop liking everything. So I turned that one off and turned on another one called Stand My Hero. And oh my goodness, it's another Otome. I didn't realize it was another Otome show, but I
Mhm.
realized within 5 minutes of starting it that it was another Otome because literally every man this girl met was gorgeous. And I'm
Nice.
like, on my phone, is Stand My Heroes and Otome. And the first picture that pops up is this girl surrounded by literally 20 men. And I'm like, yeah, this one's going to be fun. And then I realized that the premise was ultra stupid, which made me even happier because we love a good stupid premise for the Otome
Mhm.
ones. This one's a drama, but the premise is she is like a cop, part of a narc unit, but her special power is drugs don't work on her. And
Oh wow.
I'm like, so how does that work?
Mhm.
And like they don't know which drugs don't work on her. So they like keep finding new drugs that don't work on her as she's getting attacked out in the field. Like someone tries to use chloroform
Wow.
on her, and guess what? Chloroform doesn't work.
Mhm.
But like literally every man in there is a route. Every single man. There's like 5 in her original unit. There's like 4 in her new unit. There's like a band made up of CEOs for some reason, and they're all routes. probably one of the bad guys around. I don't know. There's too many men in this show already. I have lost count. I lost count at like 9, and I'm like, how are we doing this? Like we got to 9 and then like they just kept coming. I'm like, is there 15? Is there 20? We're on episode
Hmm.
2. How many men do you need?
Wow.
So yeah, that one's gonna be like plus ultra about it, I
So
feel.
way more than brothers conflict.
Oh, way more. And it's gonna be real confusing because already like 4 of them have black hair, and I'm like, friends, you gotta distinguish. I mean, I know goatee guy is different than old friend, but who is this third guy? Like they're all handsome, but you gotta differentiate them for me a little bit, please.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got childhood friend over here. We got CEO 1. We got CEO 2. We got redhead CEO. We got white haired guy who doesn't believe she's useful until he finds out she's useful. All the usual tropes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. And then I watched the things that we watched together this week. So
Mm-hmm.
and I rewatched the rest of Sasaki and Miyano in English. The movie is not available in English yet, which has me sad because I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to immediately rewatch it because it was so good.
It was really good.
How about you? What have you been doing?
Nothing because I have burnout. I have been playing inordinate amounts of Stardew Valley, and I trying to think of what else. Oh, I started watching Iruma-kun. Iruma-kun.
Animakun!
Yes,
Yay!
I started watching it. Um, but the theme song, the
Uh-huh.
intro and the outro, like it like grates my teeth because
Oh no!
it's so intense.
They are
It's so
very
intense
intense.
and very screamy. So I'm like, let me not try to watch this in the like at night. Let me try to watch this in the morning. And then the first episode I saw this morning was I was on episode 3. I just started it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with Clara. I think her name is Clara.
Karada, yes.
And this bitch is nuts. Like, and so she's
Okay.
just like, my left foot is one name, my right foot's the other name. Don't you see a pile of shit? I want to roll into it. And I'm like, you are giving me anxiety, bitch. And she calls Asmodeus ass. Like, he's asked to be called that. But she
Aza
called him
Aza.
ass,
Yeah.
Aza. I keep hearing it as ass. Ass. I'm like, you just calling this bitch ass. So, oh, but I have been watching like so much Xena. I'm almost to the musical episode.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been watching Xena. I've been watching a few hours of Xena every night. That's been my thing. I've been watching Xena. I've been appreciating not taking it as seriously as I have as a child. When I was watching it as a child, I took it so seriously, and now as an adult, I'm like, this is campy. This is hilarious. This is ridiculous. That stunt actor does not look anything like Lucy Lawless or Renee O'Connor. Like, like what are they doing? So yeah, like we're at the point in Zine and Gabrielle's relationship where they learn that they can lie to each other. Um, and yeah, so I'm also noticing way more of the queer shit that I didn't notice when I was
Mhm.
younger. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying every time I see Aphrodite because Aphrodite, I found out, was the woman who played Aphrodite was actually went to school for feminism, for
Oh,
feminist.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And so she's playing Aphrodite, and I'm like, this is great. This is great. She chose to play this part. She loved playing the part. Every time I see Ares, I get sad because we know that he passed away during the run of the series. Like, and then seeing Jockster, who I didn't realize was Sam Raimi's brother.
Really?
Yeah, his name is Ted Raimi. Wait, is that Ted Raimi? He's a Raimi.
Oh.
He's like family. So, yeah, and I just saw the episode where Lucy Lawless plays Xena, Meg, and Leah. So plays a Hestian priestess and plays like a tramp who's running her own brothel. I aspire. She's living my dream life. And so watching Lucy Lawless play all those roles, like I never appreciated it when I was younger, and now I'm like, this is
She
the
has
best
hella
thing ever.
range.
Lucy
She really
Lawless,
does.
she
Yeah.
does, she does. I enjoy the fuck out of her. So that's kind of been what I've been doing. I have more time opening up because a job that I had was just like the job's no longer there, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I have more time and I'm looking at all the books on my shelf and I'm like, I'm going to actually sit down and read something. And I need to start with something super light and super fluffy. And I
Mhm.
don't know what that is going to be yet, but I have so many books and I'm going to actually try to read some. Actually, as I look at my books, I'm like, why don't you read Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett? That book is like Bible thick. So I'm like, don't set myself up for failure. So yeah, I've been playing Stardew Valley. I've been watching Xena. I started Iruma-kun. I finished Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence.
Oh, it's done?
I think it's done. I don't think any more episodes are coming out. I gotta double check. But I finished that and I caught all the way up with My Happy Marriage.
Yeah.
And yeah, the last episode of My Happy Marriage stressed me out a little bit.
Oh, no.
I
What
watched
happened?
that thing. It's just that, her fiance, spoilers, guys, her fiance got into this like demon coma and she had to use powers she didn't know she had to get him out. But there was a moment where I'm like, shit's not gonna be okay and it's never gonna be okay. But it was okay. Everything was okay. But I got really tense there and I realized I need really sweet, gentle anime because every night I'm going back and watching 2 episodes of Yuri on Ice. Like that's been that has
So,
been my thing.
I would say try out School Babysitters, but there is a lot of shouting because there are children involved. So,
Okay.
if the shoutiness is not your favorite, because again, they're children, like, they actually
Yeah.
accurately portray children. So maybe not that one, but I'm
I
trying to
probably
think, I swear
want
there was
Butsu Yuri again or Surunde?
Surune, yeah.
Surune. I might watch
I
that
love that
again.
one.
I gotta find some gentle, like sweet shit. Like Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. So sweet. So sweet, just chill, just like ooey gooey caramel, like hot chocolate on a cold day while you're inside the ski lodge watching other people fall over themselves. Like that kind of energy. Like
Let
I
let
loved
me
it.
send you my list of, the stuff I was watching when I was in severe depression to help with that.
Hmm. Oh,
Uh,
please do, because I have seasonal affected depression, and I think it's
I'll send
it's
I
trying to start.
probably actually, I probably you are probably already have all of them on your list because it's like Natsume's Yujin which I know you added, um, Konohana Kitan, which I think you added,
Hmm.
um, Yokai Apartment Life, which I
That
don't know if
sounds
I told you
familiar.
about
I
that
think
one.
you mentioned that. Or I think I saw it and added it.
Those are all really good, and you know Yotsuro Biori. That one
Hmm.
is a classic to rewatch over and over again to just watch boys make food.
Yeah.
That one's great.
Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah,
new game, but that one doesn't really get stressful, but it gets, like, a little stressful because they have deadlines.
I could handle a little stressful like that, but just I was surprised because I really want to watch Iruma-kun,
It's
because
very
it looks
energetic.
awesome.
It's very like, it's super cute, it's super light, it's super fluffy, but it is not gentle because they are
Yeah.
doing shit at 100% all the time, which I love. Like that, it just makes me happy watching them do stuff. And the thing is, like, the way that Iruma solves all of his problems is just by being really nice. Like
Yeah,
anytime anytime there's a problem that happens, it always gets resolved because he's really nice.
yeah, he seems nice. He seems really, really nice. And his grandpa,
Sullivan. Ugh, I love him so
Sullivan,
much.
he's fantastic. And I also love, what is his name? He's got red hair. He's Ocean
So actually, Opera-san
Opera.
is the butler, and
Yeah.
Opera has no gender.
I love that.
Yeah, like literally, they only ever refer to opera as opera. They don't ever say a gender for opera. And when you first meet opera, because opera was a senior of Carego, the teacher who turns into
Mm-hmm.
Fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, actually,
Adorbs when he
I
when he
know,
turns into the
right? When he
familiar.
summoned the teacher and he was so mad about it. It was
Mm-hmm.
adorable. Anyway, so he was a senior, and actually, Carego is intimidated by opera because
Oh
opera's that
wow.
powerful, actually, and that competent and
Wow.
everything. And so when you first see like a flashback of Caliego when he was remembering, he was like, yeah, so I heard about this senior at school who was like a badass with like red hair and like a skirt and just kicks everyone's ass. And it was Opera-san.
Mm.
And you show up and like literally on a pile of bodies, they're just sitting there, tail twitching, demon ears. Like, what's up, bitch? It's like, oh my goodness. So
Cool.
yeah,
I'm
opera is
gonna
actually my favorite.
I'm gonna keep trying. But I'm probably gonna have to skip the intro every
Intros,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably have to because it's just like yo 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 yo, and like literally that's like the first few seconds of the intro. It's like yo
Bobby, 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 Bobby Lou. Yeah, that one.
yo
It's
yo. Yes.
extremely energetic. It is not a going to bed anime for sure.
No, no, it is not. As I discovered, it is not. It is not at all. So I'm gonna probably start watching the Masterful Cat is depressed again today because I feel that energy. Um and yeah, that's it. That's my plans. That's what I've been watching. So yeah, Burnout cuz I am
Well, really quick though, because we watched 2 shows together this
oh,
week.
we did.
What did you think of Tokyo Revengers?
The first episode was hard for me. The first episode was like, if this dude keeps getting humiliated like this, it was painful.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm activated. I can't do this. And then we get to the second episode and things started to get better. He started to stand up for himself a little more. We get more of the plot, like
Mhm.
it and what his purpose is and what his goals are. And I'm like, yes, this is amazing. Uh, it also reminds me of this Korean drama that I lost track of, where this guy had to go back and rescue. He's trying to rescue his relationship though with this girl. He's trying to make it work, and every time he goes back and forth, he keeps changing things, and sometimes they don't come out so good in the end. But he's like gonna keep swinging until he hits. But in this one, it felt. I love the characters. I love the mob guys. I love their
Yeah.
little gangs. They're so cute and they're so adorable. And like there was some really really rough scenes in there though. Like
Yeah,
they
no,
are
like, he gets his ass kicked a lot.
not
Like,
just him,
so much. Yeah.
but they're not shying away from certain themes that I've
Yeah.
seen people try to shy away or gloss over. There's definitely this butterfly effect thing that happens, but they're not softening any of the blows, just like they don't soften when he gets his ass kicked. Like
Yeah.
they're showing consequences of actions
Mhm.
or inaction.
It's a very
And
raw show like that, and
mhm,
it just keeps escalating.
yeah. And one thing I love about it is someone who feels themselves that they're so insignificant is actually the linchpin.
Yes, I actually really love that too because at the in that last scene where Akun on the roof,
Mhm.
he literally turns to him and said, "Save us, crybaby hero."
Mhm.
Like he knows that even though he's emotional all the time, it's that actual emotion, that humanness of him that can save everyone.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like, in the scenes with, like, Draken and Mikey, Mikey's
Mhm.
a little bit psycho. Like
Mikey's not a little bit psycho. Mikey is psycho. Mikey didn't stick his toe in a psycho pool. He jumped in and he can hold his breath really well. Like,
but and Draken keeps him human. So,
yes.
like, he needs that influence of softness and of humanity to keep him from, like, just going off the deep end.
Mhm.
So, I think it's important that Takamichi like, they
Mhm.
say his name funny for some reason, and I don't know why, but it's cute.
Mhm.
I think we're gonna hear a lot more about, Mikey's brother, the one who he says Takamichi reminds him of,
Mhm.
and that might tell us a little bit more about why he has such influence over them.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I didn't get far enough into the show to be able to, like, spoil anything, so I
All
got to,
right,
like,
we're
episode 13 before I was like, "Peace, I'm out. I can't do this constant death, go back, death, go back, death, go back." It's
I'm
too
excited to
stressful.
watch more. It's really engaged me. What I was afraid of when we first started watching it was that it was gonna like be like Lookism, and I made it through like 4 episodes of Lookism, and
How? I couldn't even do 1. You're
I made it
brave.
through 4. I kept thinking this is gonna get better, like it's gonna get better for him, but it never gets better for him, like, as far as I watch, and I was like, "I can't do this again, I can't do this again." And this is coming from the person who watched, like, the entire Star Trek Enterprise series, like
I forgot you're a masochist, sorry.
yeah, total masochist, total masochist. So, yeah, but I'm
Um,
like, "I can't do this."
yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah,
What
that
else
series
did we
was
watch?
rough for me. We watched the Sasaki and Miyano
We
movie,
did watch The
Graduation.
Graduation, we did. Oh,
I'm
it
not
was
gonna
so
lie,
good.
I cried the whole time. It was, like, to the point that I probably need to watch it again because I couldn't read the subtitles in some parts because I was too busy tearing up because I was so happy about everything that was happening.
Mhm,
It was just so sweet and so light and just so what I needed right then.
mhm.
Yeah.
I loved how they were like, "We're gonna." It wasn't. I thought graduation was gonna be this really big, like, emotional thing was gonna happen between the two of them, and they were gonna have this whole conflict of how do we keep our relationship together and all this other stuff. But it was just like, no, we're just gonna be together. It was like we're just gonna be together. Like what? Like we're gonna spend all break together, and then school's gonna start, and we'll see each other when we can. Like it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a "you're leaving me" kind of
Yeah.
situation, but there was an acknowledgement of things are gonna change. I'm not gonna be able to see you every day like I used to. Like, yeah,
And the thing is,
and
though, because they were different years, it's not like they were in the same class together,
yeah,
you know? They still had to see each other intermittently, especially when they had to prepare for exams and stuff like that, so I guess they got used to it. And I'm glad that they finally exchanged numbers because through the majority of the show, they didn't have each other's cell number until, like, the
yeah.
last episode. I'm like, "You guys, get it
Well,
together."
that that happens. That happens. I mean, they had different kind of access to each other, and it kind of got, casted aside. But that one friend who was like, "Why don't you have his number?
Yeah.
Are
You
you,
don't know. I
are
love
you
him.
are you fucking kidding me, you guys? What are y'all doing?" Yeah. And I love how he was still like they were together, but he was still respecting his space. Sasaki was
Yeah.
still respecting Miyano's space.
I love Sasaki so much.
Oh, so consent forward. The
So consent
consent in
forward,
that
and
show.
I swear to God, I actually like the English VA more than the Japanese one. That's how
Mm.
good the English one is. Like, I can't. I'm gonna go back and watch it again. He's just so funny and sweet.
Mhm.
Not that the original Japanese is bad by any means. No, it's very high quality. Like, I watched that first and loved it. But I decided to watch the English one because I saw a clip of the English one online and was like, "Well, I'm watching this now."
Mhm.
Worth it. It was worth it to watch it again in English because it was very funny.
I had it
And
playing in English, but then I kept falling asleep on it because it's too late at night when I
yeah,
settle down to read it. And the voices are kind of soothing to me.
they are, especially like whoever they got to do Miyano, his voice is so gentle
Mhm.
that like he sounds really gentle all the time, which is,
Mhm.
a plus, but it's also like, "Oh, you sound like super gentle all the time." I can see why that would make you tired.
Yeah, I was just like, but yeah. I should probably watch it before I watch Yuri. Like my body's like, "Oh, you've watched Yuri on Ice. It must be time to go to sleep."
Yes.
Cuz Yuri on Ice got me through like some of the roughest. I think I was super sick when you first was like watch Yuri on Ice, and I was like, "Okay, I'm going
Mhm.
to watch Yuri on Ice." I think I was super sick during that time when I first started, so it's very comforting and soothing to me. Um it became my stand-in because before that I was watching Lars and the Real Girl, which is a movie, and it's very like slow pace. It's a slow burn.
Mhm.
It's got
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds in it. Is that Ryan Reynolds? I think it's Ryan Reynolds in it. But there's this one scene where this like sex doll that he had a whole relationship with, he had to, kill her emotionally in his head to end his delusion. And he's like shaking her awake on the bed, screaming, "Wake up! Wake up, Bianca, wake up, wake up!" And it's just, and I would wake up like from this, but I could listen and be like, "Oh no, what's happening?" My heart racing. But I can listen to Yuri on Ice, like, and fall asleep and wake up and be like, "Oh, Victor," which I also realized Victor is another white haired, goofy ass. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
You might have a type.
I have a type. White haired, goofy ass mentor. Um,
Oh my god.
I have a
You'd
type.
probably like Kakashi too if you could get
Oh
over
my god. If I
Naruto
could
doing
get
anything.
over that, yeah. Yeah, no, I already know. Like I'd already looked up fan art of Kakashi and Gojo together, and it's there.
Mhm.
It exists and
Mhm.
it's hot.
I mean, you're not wrong. That is true. Uh, mm, but yeah. So Burnout.
Burnout. Burnout. I know that I'm experiencing it and I have been experiencing it. Part of it is from being so sick and dealing with chronic illnesses and still having to navigate the world. The other part is the burnout, like for not being financially or fiscally stable. There's burnout for not being like mentally and emotionally stable. And there's just a burnout from existing in this world where everything is happening and having to keep going as if none of it is happening or if things that we are experiencing is normal. And you add that to media, I haven't been able to update any. I have like over 9,000 followers and I'm doing nothing with my content at all because I'm so incredibly burned out. There is just like a listlessness. I wake up every morning like, oh shit, I got a life again. I'm so excited to go to bed at night. Let me tell you, at night, I'm like, it is on. I'm in bed. I'm watching my shows. I'm like, I'm going to have exciting dreams. I am sleeping for incredibly long time. So I'm having burnout and depression. But like, how do we stop to like, not stop, but like, it's exhausting. So how do I not be exhausted? And how do I deal with my burnout? Like when all of my tools to deal with burnout are no longer working because I've been burned out so long, you know?
Yeah. Like my burnout's slightly different. So, because basically, again, the being sick all the time, and then like work keeps changing parameters for things on me,
Mhm.
and like my burnout is presenting as a combination of revenge bedtime,
Ooh, tell more.
which so revenge bedtime is basically when you're saying, I am going to stay up late because
Yep.
I have times that people are not expecting anything of me and I can just do whatever the fuck I want to do for
Mhm.
set amount of time before bed. And I have
Mhm.
that really hard because so my husband goes to bed around 7 or 8, and then I go to bed at like 2 in the morning. So I've got like 5 hours of where it's just me and the dog and anime, and I get to draw, and that's it.
Mhm.
I don't have anybody expecting me to do anything. I don't have to get up and go to work. I don't have to do anything like that. And then I'm like, well, I should probably go to bed because I have to get up at 9 and go to work, but I don't want to because I'm having too much fun drawing with the dog
Yep.
kicking me, you know? So, it's a problem, uh, for me because that's actually making me more burned out
Yeah.
because I'm not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not getting enough sleep, and my husband's like, "You should really go to bed earlier." He's taken to setting an alarm for the light out in the living room, so at 2:30, it just turns off, and I'm in the dark by myself as a way to be like, "Hey, it's 2:30 and you have work tomorrow. Go the fuck to bed."
Mhm.
And still, like, little brat me is sometimes like, "No, I'm gonna stay up and read my comic for another amount of time."
I have a light set for 11:30 in my room to just
Uh-huh.
turn off on me. And it's so rude cuz it doesn't even dim, it just goes like black. And and sometimes when it goes off, I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" Like
It
cuz
has scared me before, yeah.
I always forget that it's going to happen. But then once it goes off, it's like I just dim the light on my phone and keep going with what I'm doing. And I do need to sleep a lot because I'm so disabled. I'm so
Mhm.
chronically ill. But like, I understand that time of no one has expectations of me. I don't have to interact with anyone. I don't
Mhm.
feel bad for not interacting with anyone. It's just me and my bed and my phone and whatever else the fuck I'm doing. Like, and then waking up and feeling like kind of like I'm just living for that time that I get to be by
Mhm.
myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm making it through the day. Like the earlier the morning is, the more sad I am. And then as it gets closer to night, I'm like, I'm getting so excited because I get to have my me time with no,
Yeah, and, like, I understand because like, even when you love the people you live with and you're, having a good time, even just being around other people can feel exhausting when you're in that burnout space. So,
yeah,
it's not saying anything about my husband, it's not saying anything about your housemates that we like being alone or having alone time. It's just being around people can be exhausting, and sometimes I just wanna fall into a reel hole or, read comics or, watch a
Mhm.
show or draw and not have anybody expect me to respond to them right away, like you were saying. Like, we can send reels to each other all night and it's fine, but, like, I don't ever expect you to respond to the stuff I'm sending. I'm like, "They'll get to it eventually, it's
Mhm.
fine." Um, but at the same time, like, I have other people sending me thousands of them, and I'm like, "I will
Mhm.
get to them. I will, I promise." So,
Mhm.
if you're listening out there and you've been sending me reels and I haven't responded to all of them, I will get to them eventually, I promise. There are 2 people specifically I'm talking to right now. I will get to them, I promise. Um, but, like, I guess it's just it's very much different, and with social media being a factor to it, I'm seeing a lot of kids in the art space getting burned out
Yeah,
because
because 'cause they're
there's
doing it for the grams.
they're doing it for the grams. Like, almost entirely some of them. Some of them are just like, "I like making art, I'm going to post some of it." But I think it's different emotionally for people who are younger in
Mhm.
terms of it's very much all of their being that they're putting out there, you know? Like, for me, I'm just trying to get used to being perceived by people,
Mhm.
um, but for other people, they're like, "I'm trying to do this for a job," or, "I want to be recognized and understood,"
And
and
that's where I
having
am.
Yeah, yeah. So that definitely increases the burnout because the more people that you have following you, like, you have 9,000 followers, and, like, the way that the algorithm is set up is you have to be posting every single day to get
Yeah.
any interaction with people, and you have
Yep.
to be posting reels. You can't just post, a picture with words. You have
Yeah.
to be setting it up so it's a movie somehow.
I've
Because
been
now
maintaining it through just like, I don't know how I did it, but it's just through, um, God, just through written stuff. Cause I have a problem with being on camera.
Mhm.
Like, I do not like being on camera. I know I'm on camera right now, but this is just us, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm in a few films too, but
I
that's
was like, you're out there, you're on the internet, you're in the world."
it's just different when you have to, like, hold your phone and record yourself and be like, "Hi, I'm doing blah, 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 blah," or "This is how I feel about something." I have to get used to that because if I'm going to have a successful business and use social media to fuel that
Mhm.
business, then I'm going to have to do the things that I don't really necessarily want to do, which is be on camera and be like, "Hey, this is me. This is what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah." I'm much better at expressing myself through the written word. So, but then they'll look like me with the camera in front of me reading off of a sheet of paper, and that's like, maybe I figure out how to make that a thing. I don't know. See, even now it's like, how do I make that a thing? Constantly thinking of it. And there's a point with the social media where I felt really, and which is the reason why I took a break, is where I was getting a lot of validation from what I was posting and people's feedback and response.
Mhm.
And that didn't change my content, but that did make me feel like if I didn't get engagement on something, it made me feel like, oh, like maybe I did something wrong, or
Mhm.
maybe, and I'm also like a Virgo with anxiety. So
Yeah.
like things, I have to practice not being perfect. I have to practice like not like being like every time I press send, I'm like, someone's gonna hate this and come for me. But it's my real feelings. But I haven't been able to post. Like, I've just been exhausted. Like, I'm burned out from like all the work I did on the book for it not to be picked up like the way it was supposed to be published. Like, it's just what I'm seeing with kids and social media is so much of their lives have been on social media, and
Mhm.
not because they chose it necessarily, but because their parents chose to do it.
Yeah.
And they feel like, and they're like, it's part of their parents, one of the ways in which they can connect with their parents or make their parents proud of them is to continue that. But there's also, but they're getting tired of it. There's been kids who have lawsuits against their parents so that they're like, you can't, like, they went to court with their parents over their own image, like,
Well,
because they
and
were
that
tired.
a lot of the parents that are doing, like, the mommy blogging type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
they're doing it and, like, putting all of their kids' business out there.
Yep.
Like, that's one of the things that, like, the most of the people that I follow are artists, and
Mm-hmm.
most of the content that I'm putting out is art stuff.
Yeah.
Like, my personal account has, like, some pictures of me and my art and, like, some, like, life stuff, but it's not like I'm not trying to be an influencer, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm mainly concentrating on the art account, and most of the I'm only cross-posting, like, fan art. I'm not cross-posting any of the draw this in your styles. I'm not cross-posting anything else. I just kind of the fan art is fun. And I've been doing reels because it's very, very easy to get the speed paints off of Procreate. You just
Mm-hmm.
export it and it's there. It's the whole process of the drawing, which is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pick a piece of music that I like. Like I don't ever use the trending sounds or anything, which I probably would have more I don't know, I would probably have more engagement if I did use the trending sounds, but like I'm not really interested in getting engagement per se, other than, like, I wanna be able to host my own Draw This in Your Style at some point.
Yeah.
That's it. That's, like, my only goal is because
Mm-hmm.
I don't do commissions, so I'm gonna offer to do pieces for other people as prizes for the Draw This in Your Own Style, because I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be fun, and it's kind of the only way anyone could get a piece by me other than being my very good friend and telling me about their
Mm-hmm.
characters. Um, but yeah, no, like I keep having ideas and I keep like I'm burnt out on work, but I'm not burnt out on art. I've been the other way around. Like I was burnt out on art for a really long time, but it was mainly because art school is a sham. Let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, a bunch of the art teachers in art school are just artists that are good at their craft, but they're not good at teaching. Because I was told specifically by one guy that art is not my thing, that I should do something else, that I would never be good at art.
Ooh.
Yeah, by a teacher of
Oh my
perspective.
God.
Yeah. I have grown more in the past 2 months just by watching the kids use Procreate than I learned in 3 years of art school.
Mm.
Like, I had 2 good teachers. One was a gesture drawing teacher, and he really shows you how to, like, push poses to make it more dynamic, essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and the other was an illustration teacher who taught me a lot of techniques with watercolor and gouache, and that's it. Just those 2. The rest of the teachers were just there giving you prompts and then telling you your stuff was either good or bad, and for
Mm.
me, it was mostly telling me my stuff was bad,
Mm.
without any, like, guidance as to how to make it better, so I'm like,
Oh,
that's not helpful. That's not
they
helpful.
suck.
Yeah. So that's why I
They
got burned
suck.
out from doing art because I was like, well, I'm never going to be good enough to actually make money off of this. So I'm not going to. And I went into massage. And then I got burnt out on that because my joints don't work and I was breaking myself.
Oh, my roommate's like, "Are you gonna eat?" Um, I didn't burn out on massage. My body burned out. My body burned out.
Yeah.
My whole like just like your joints didn't work, my body
Mhm.
like stopped working in so many ways. I'm like letting them know I'll come out. Eat without me.
Oh,
Um,
actually, that reminds me of something, and we're gonna pivot the second topic when we get to that, but please
okay.
continue on.
But I'm experiencing burnout as an artist
Mhm.
because I spent so long writing that book and
Right.
then having to switch my writing style to something that was like different for my editor who
Mhm.
was advising me to like write in this certain style. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel betrayed by my editor. I feel hella betrayed by my
Honestly,
editor.
I don't blame you, like, that was holy crap, like,
So my
she made you pivot just to
yeah,
have them say, "We're not gonna use this now."
yeah. And so I got burned out from learning how to write a different way and then from switching my content and then like just the constant forcing myself to write instead of writing in a way that made me happy. And I started to feel accomplished, but I was also completely like, I would like to start writing again. I would like to feel the pleasure in writing again.
Mhm.
And this book just kind of like took it out of me, took it out of me completely. Like, it was one of those, it drugged my soul out of my body, raked it across the coals, and then was like, okay, we're going to leave you here on a side of the railroad tracks kind of situation. And I'm really sad and I really mourn my love of writing. Like, I experienced also burnout when I was like a teenager with piano. Like,
Mm.
I was a child prodigy with piano. And it came to a point where it was like either you're going to do piano or you're not going to do piano like for your life. Like, that was the level I was at. I was at the level of you're going to go into music and you can major in music. Like, and I was like, okay, this is cool. But then I started learning all the technical stuff. I didn't have the support of like my family. Like, it was just, to everyone else, I was a prodigy. To my mother, I was doing my job. Like,
Oh.
yeah.
I
I
think
even got,
that's maybe a good portion of burnout. Like, I think a lot of burnout is when you're either taken for granted, like your
mm-hmm,
talent is taken for granted. Like, people are like, "Oh, well, you're just really talented. You're not actually working hard." Instead of
yeah,
realizing that talent comes from a lot of work most of the time.
yes,
And, um, the other one is when people are dismissive or negative towards
yeah,
you while you're doing your best. It's very
mm-hmm,
discouraging, and I think that definitely increases burnout because,
yeah,
like, when you're really trying hard and people are still like, "Oh, you're shit," and not acknowledging growth and not acknowledging the uniqueness that you bring to whatever craft you're doing, it's
mm-hmm,
really difficult, and that's why it makes it so hard to be perceived on the internet because if you don't get engagement, it feels like rejection. But if the engagement
yes,
you get is negative, that's somehow worse. Like, I'd rather have no engagement than have people come in and be shitty on my page. It hasn't happened. No one's been shitty on my page, just
mm-hmm.
FYI. But, like,
No, and no one's been shitty on mine, which has always been like a blessing, but also
yeah,
like, wow, like, kind of like wild.
that is kind of wild, especially with the volume of people you have on your
Yeah,
page.
I have like 9,800 something.
Wow. I was all
Yeah.
excited because I got over 300.
Yeah, that is
I was like,
good.
"Yay." I'm gonna host a Draw This in Your Style at 500, so I'm excited.
I hope you get there soon.
I will. Like, it's only been active for a month and a half, so I think
Hmm.
I'm kinda trucking along here.
I can't
Um,
wait to see you draw this in your own style.
yeah, I'm excited. I gotta figure out how to post things to a story, though. I don't know how to
Oh,
do
I
that
can
yet.
teach you. I can teach
Yay!
you.
I will need help with that because, like,
I can
I
teach
see
you.
everybody has these little, the little circle things that have, like, prompts and stuff like that, so I wanna have one, when I have the DTIYS for,
Oh,
like,
you mean your
here's the
highlights?
Yeah, 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 I don't know how to use that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can help you.
Okay.
It's simple. It's simple. Once I show you, you'll be like, oh, whatever.
Mm. That's so funny. Um, but yeah, no, there is like one of the kids was saying that they were gonna quit doing stuff because people kept being negative, and I'm like, "Please don't."
Hmm.
Like, I responded saying, like, "I'm sorry people are being mean to you. I love it when you pop up on my feed." And they were like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. I love your art so much." And I'm like, "Listen, people told me that I wasn't good at art and I needed to quit, and it made me quit for a little bit, but I came back and I'm even better. So don't
Hmm.
listen to them. Never give up.
Don't listen.
I want to see your
Don't give
stories.
up
I
on
want to see
something you
your
love.
art.
Hmm.
Your art is worth things, and we want to see it, and we will be poorer in the world without the stories that you tell."
Yeah.
Because it's the truth. It's the truth. I think that everybody has stories to tell, and I want to hear them. And I will say that one of the things that really, really got me back into art was doing fan art, doing trying to copy animation styles in the cell paintings, trying to do my own style of the manga panels and like that kind of
Hmm.
stuff really got me back into doing art on the regular. And I think that that is what you were mentioning, possibly doing more
Fan
of the
fiction.
fan
Avatar: The
stories.
Last
Yeah.
Airbender fan fiction.
I
Yeah.
think that's gonna help you get back into your groove with
It
writing
probably
because it's
will.
something you love.
I might write some smutty Xena Gabrielle fan fiction.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? There is
Yeah.
still an audience for that, I guarantee you.
Xena Gabrielle slash. I might have to do that since I'm watching Xena right now. I might have to do that. But yeah, like if you have these parameters, like this world set up, it's
Mhm.
easier to create something within those boundaries as a beginning instead of like branching out. Yeah, I still have to send you some of my writing so you can see what my writing style is like. I've just been so nervous. And but I'm gonna
I
send you
loved the
something.
short stories you sent me so far. Those have
Okay.
been like, I almost cried over that one with Iroh. I'm not gonna lie. The one that hinted about Iroh being the daddy. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, you are the
gasp,
father.
pearl clutching, gasp.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, there's no way Zuko is Ozai's son. Like, he has to be. Like, yeah. So I made a situation. Um, but yeah, I wanna have that joy
Yeah.
back again. I feel like it's really been taken from me. And yeah, if people tell you not to do your thing and that's part of your burnout, like fuck them. Like I was told that I shouldn't sing on stage.
Oh, fuck
Like
that. You're great.
yeah, I was told that I should not sing on stage. And by the end of my burlesque career, like I was making over 50% of my income singing on stage. And I was
Mhm.
able to like afford to live in the Bay Area. Um, like that's ridiculous. Like I made half my income off of just singing on stage. Like wild. And I was told that I shouldn't do it. I was told that I can't sing. I was told that I shouldn't sing. And I kept doing it. And I had a lot of joy in it. And I think I'm also like with the burnout, there's this thing of how we used to access creativity when you talk about creative burnout. There's like there's like a road map to things in our spirit and our brains and our bodies, like, and if a route gets cut off, it's hard to find the route back to the same find a new route back to the same place. Like, for
Mhm.
instance, there was this guy who used to sing with, and he used to smoke a cigarette while he played the guitar, but then he quit smoking, so then he couldn't play the guitar.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that before, and so
Mhm.
he had to figure out a new way to want to play the guitar 'cause he was so associated with the 2 things.
Mhm.
That's so interesting, though.
Mhm. So now I have to figure out a way to write with pleasure in mind, without productivity, without politics.
Mhm.
Like, cuz a lot of my writing has been political, in some way spiritual, liberation work, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, what does it look like to write just for the joy of writing, and to find the routes that I used to get there as a child.
Mhm.
But also then as a child I was writing because I was depressed and had a narcissistic covert narcissist for a mother. So it was a lot of escapism. And so I'm trying to like figure out, how do I write from a more balanced place of joy and pleasure? And how do I move through to that place through burnout? So that's
Yeah.
so I'm gonna start that by, yes, writing fan fiction. I just gotta accept that I'm gonna be sitting in front of the screen and nothing's gonna come out at first, like that I am creatively constipated, but I just have to just sit there and eventually something will happen. And reading more. I think reading more is also gonna.
Reading more is definitely gonna help. Yeah, 'cause I think one of the things is if you read a really interesting book and you're like, "I love this story structure. I wanna
Mhm.
try a similar story structure, but with these other characters and this other plot in mind." I think that'll help a lot, for sure.
Mhm.
Because one of the things that I found is at first, it was really, really difficult to get back into doing art. It was really difficult. Even though I had decided, "You know what? I'm gonna start drawing these characters," and, like, I started drawing my own OCs, and that was great, but, like, I wasn't satisfied with them. I wasn't happy with them.
Mhm.
So, I knew that, like, I needed something else to get me to a place of being happy, and that's where I started, like, while I was reading manga, I was taking pictures of panels that I really liked,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Let me see if I can draw this panel that I really like." And I also kept within my own skill level when doing so.
Mhm.
Now, I know
Mm.
that sounds funny, but
Mm-mm.
for me, I understand my own current skill level versus where I might wanna be, and, like,
Mhm.
I'm not grabbing a Chainsaw Man panel, you know what I mean? I'm not quite at Fujimoto level trying to get that on paper. But, like, Demon Slayer, I can handle. Like, I've been doing
Mhm.
pretty good with those panels, you know?
You have.
I feel confident and, like, Gatoge has really good writing, a really good writing style, but there are certain things that I like to tweak about the designs so that I like them better for me. So that's what I've been
Mhm.
doing, which and how they ended up more in my style necessarily than Gatoge's style, because there are certain things that I like a lot, I've realized. I really
Mhm.
like drawing teeth. I like drawing teeth, and I like drawing hands and feet. Those are my favorite. Like,
Mhm.
most people hate all of those things. They're like, "I
Mhm.
hate eyes, I hate teeth, I hate hands, I hate feet. They're too hard." And I'm like, "Give me all of those things." Like, one of the draw this in your styles that I did last night, I just, like, popped it out in 2.5 hours. It was just a really quick little paint, and really complicated feet and hands, and I was just like, "Oh, yeah, chew that shit.
Mhm.
Eat it like candy." That's right. Because I really, really like feet and hands.
Mhm.
But, I'm making artist friends, and that's also helping me because, like, I like having artist friends to talk about art with. I like having
Community totally helps with burnout.
It so does. It so does. And also because I've decided not to monetize my work. So
Mhm.
I'm literally just making it to make it, and that's it. I'm like, "You know what? I'm not taking
Mhm.
commissions because they'll stress me out, and I probably won't be able to do them anyway because of my demand aversion." Um, like, but I can get over it if I'm friends with someone and they need
Mhm.
something. I'm always there. So that's why I've also been doing a lot of, draw this in your styles, just making friends with artists, art
Mhm.
friends. It's fun. It's fun. Try it out. Try it out, kids at home. Try making art friends. Um, but you had reminded me of something else, talking about not like kind of moving a little bit away from burnout. Um, Disability in media and how it's portrayed. I saw this meme the other day of it was like a thread on Tumblr that somebody posted, and somebody was talking about Full Metal Alchemist and how they handled Edward's disability because
Mhm.
one of his legs is gone and one of his arms is gone. And somebody's like, "Edward's not disabled. He's fully functional. He has, he can act normal," as they said. And they're like, "I'm sorry, you
What?
are you stupid? Like you don't he
Yeah.
doesn't have an arm and a leg. He uses metal arms and he can't go
He
out in the
has
cold."
prosthetics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his prosthetics are made of metal, so if he's in too much heat, it will burn his body. Like, he
Mhm.
and it often harms him having these metal things attached to his body. He gets pain a lot. It's
Yeah,
something
and
you
he's
don't
dependent
see.
on what's her nuts to, like, keep him functioning,
Yeah, to constantly keep repairing all of his parts. Like, how
which he
can you
keeps
see
fucking
that?
up
Yeah. And,
'cause he's
like,
rough.
apparently in the manga, they really dig into, like, the phantom pain and, like, the PTSD he has from losing limbs and stuff like that a little bit more than they do in the anime, and it's like, how are you gonna watch this man suffer and be like, "He's fine. That's not a disability." And it kind of
Mhm.
got like, the thread kind of devolved into people basically arguing on why things are a disability and why it's important to know that it's a disability, and I learned things.
Mhm.
Because they pointed out, they're like, "If you need glasses
You have a
or you
disability.
can't function, that's a disability," and I was
Yep.
like, "Oh," because if I don't have my glasses, nothing is ever getting done. I will never be able to
Mhm.
do anything because I am, like, very nearsighted, like, extremely
Me
nearsighted.
too.
So, like, everything is very blurry, like, I couldn't drive. I would barely be able to work. I could work in like, with a headache all the time. I could read and do art, and that's it. That's all I could do
Mhm.
if I couldn't wear glasses for some reason, and they were talking about all these other things where it's like, you have to think that just because there is a modern way to get around
Navigate.
certain
Yeah.
issues does not make them not issues.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's true. And I think talking about Full Metal Alchemist specifically and Edward's disability, it kind of made me think about what other characters that I've seen had disabilities and how was it handled in the show. Because talking about Edward, Violet Evergarden,
Yeah.
the main character has a prosthetic hand that she's
Mhm.
not super good with because it's brand new and she's not deft with it at all, and watching her
Yep.
navigate learning how to use that hand, I feel like they did a really good job with that one, though.
They did. That whole series, I mean, it'll have you fucked up, it'll have you crying, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful talk about humanity and, but she not just has her hand that's part of her disability, but she also is dealing with a lot of mental health issues as well, which can
Yeah, she
be
has severe
debilitating as well.
PTSD for
Yeah.
sure. Um, yeah, and I think that that's also important to talk about because, like, again, I feel like we've come a very long way of portrayals in media for disability.
Hmm.
Because when we were kids, it was either like pointed out as a, oh, here's a unique thing that doesn't happen very often, take a look. And now we have main characters, you know what I mean,
Hmm. Yeah.
dealing with stuff
Yeah.
and, learning how to navigate the world through that.
Hmm.
And
Like, did
again,
you see the newest season of oh my God, what is it called? Good Omens?
I have not seen it yet, no.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but one of the angels uses a divine wheelchair, ambulatory device.
Nice.
And it is cool as fuck. And there's this whole thing about, oh, you see an angel and they're disabled. And like
Mhm.
it's like, yes, yes. Because angels are depicted as being very like able bodied in a lot of different ways. I mean, they have
Mhm.
wings and all this other shit. But here we have a disabled angel, and it was just beautiful to see that kind of representation.
Yeah.
Um and knowing that in order to have this actress be there, they had to like make sure that their set was accessible, you know?
Mhm.
Like, and there was even a part where they even talked about accessibility. They showed accessibility, a situation where something was inaccessible and how like this could have been easy to deal with, like in the show. So
Mhm.
I really like the next season of Good Omens. So good. I recommend for anyone who hasn't seen it to see it. Which reminds me, I have to finish watching Jodie Whittaker's turn as Doctor Who so I can be ready for the premiere in November.
That reminds me, we went to the Ren Fair on Saturday, and it was time traveler weekend,
Uh-huh.
and we
Star
found a
Trek?
gaggle of doctors. Like, all of the
Oh,
doctors,
that's
every
so
single
cool.
version of the doctors were there, even the new guy. Like, everybody was represented, it was fantastic.
Shizugatwa. Oh,
Yeah. So,
that's so cool.
there were Star Trek people, there were Mandalorians, like, everybody showed up to the Ren Fair.
That's so cute.
Um,
That's
it
so
was
cute.
pretty fun. It was hot, though, it was so hot,
Mm.
to the point that I don't know if I wanna go back in 2 weeks when we're gonna do that Sunday. We were gonna do, like, the
Hopefully it'll
20th.
be cooler by then.
I'm hoping so too because I'm getting my tattoo next weekend, and I can't sweat. When you get your tattoo, they specifically say, "Don't go do things that make you sweat, because 'cause you'll
Holy
sweat the ink out."
shit. We're supposed to have a heat wave here.
Really?
Yeah.
We're having a cold snap this weekend.
Oh my God. It's supposed to be 90 degrees on Thursday.
What? That is
Yeah.
insane.
I'm just going to be laid out on the floor. That's what's going to happen to me. I'm just going to be laid out on the floor. I hope this changes. God damn it. I might need to go to a hotel. Like, I can't, my body cannot handle the heat. I wilt. I start to feel like something's wrong with me. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and we're just the opposite. So on Friday, it's gonna be a high of 70 and a low of 46. Saturday, the high is 59, the low is 39. So we are going in the exact opposite direction.
Saturday is 87.
At least that's a little bit
That's when it
better.
starts to cool down. Yeah. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are going to be hell days for us
Wow.
here. We're not used to this kind of heat. We have one air conditioner in the living room. I'm just going to bring my pillow out there. I'm just going to bring my pillow out there. I'm going to lay on the floor, bring my headset and everything. And oh no, I'm supposed to get a mammogram. Never mind. One of those days I got to go get my titty squished.
It's like then they'll just have to deal. Have to deal,
Yep.
get some titty squishing.
Get the titty squishes. But yeah, burnout is a bitch. So I'm gonna try to deal with my burnout by sleeping, by reading, like trying to find a fine line between relaxation and avoidance. Like, because sometimes I feel when I'm relaxing that I'm avoiding things, and that's because I'm used to being so fucking productive all the time and judging myself. So I gotta be gentle with myself.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize that if you are wanting to create, that it's not about being productive, it's about enjoying yourself. Because like you
Mm-hmm.
said, right now, it's not fun for you to write.
No.
So, I think it's also because all of the writing that you've done lately has had to have a purpose. It's
Mm-hmm.
had to either be part of the justice work or it's had to be part of your income. You haven't been able to write just to enjoy the actual process of getting a story out of your head.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of my head being like having stuff in it, my stomach does not. So I think I need to. I think I have to go eat something before my blood sugar is like, well, let's like make the pancreas work overtime because obviously they're not going to eat anything. So let's dump insulin into your system because diabetes.
Diabetes. That better safe than not. So
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. And we still talked a lot. I mean, this we don't always have to talk for 2.5 hours. It's not a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that happens often because we enjoy talking. But like,
Yes.
the schedule this past couple weeks has been weird, and next week is going to be an off week. So we're just let's take a break before we get burnout. How about?
Before we get burnout, um, there probably will be an episode after this, y'all. Don't worry. We're not burned out on this.
We have a buffer right now, so
We have a
it's
buffer.
not.
You're right.
Yeah, by the time that you hear this, there will be more episodes. So,
Yes. Yes. Unless I publish some sooner because we have to do a spooky season one
oh, we do. Yeah,
episode.
you
Yeah.
might have to you might have to shuffle the order a little bit to make sure
I will shuffle the order of things.
because
But
we got to talk horror movies, and
mhm.
then in January, once we watch Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm actually inviting my other friend who has been sending me crying voice messages after every episode on Thursday. I am inviting her to come talk about it with us because,
Awesome.
reliving the trauma because
Mhm.
it's just it's a whole lot. Like I saw a meme of the voice actor for Yuji
Mhm.
uh after after delivering his lines for one scene sobbing like an infant, and
Ah,
I heard the lines that he said beforehand and I knew which scene in the manga it was, so now I'm crying watching my it's
no.
yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be rough.
Okay. 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 I'm excited. I'm excited and devastated already. So
Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
if you had to, yeah, we have to do horror movies. We have to do more witch shit and ancestor shit and Veil-istin shit. So yeah, I might be pushing those episodes. So this is October right now. You're probably gonna hear this in November, but
It's fine. We'll
but
reorganize.
we're gonna
You
reorganize. We're gonna reorganize.
you're gonna hear some September episodes in November too. Who knows?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's good. It's good. So if you had to leave anyone with anything after this episode, what would it be?
Don't let anybody take your joy for things.
Mhm.
If you are burned out because you're doing too much, take a break. But like if someone else is taking your joy in that thing, do not let them. Because they
Mhm.
win. They win. If they tell you that your stuff is bad and you shouldn't be making it, then they win. But if you
Mhm.
keep making stuff, you're just going to keep getting better and better and better. And then you throw it in their face and tell them to fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. For me, it would be pay attention, like listen to yourself. Um, don't wait for burnout. Schedule days where you are relaxed. Schedule days where you do nothing if you can manage it. Um, and if you do have burnout, make yourself a burnout kit. My burnout kit or my burnout to-do list is like Stardew Valley. Now it's including a book. It includes like foods I want to eat or things like that. Or if I need to get a hug from someone, a hug. Or my body pillow. Like have a burnout plan. Uh and also share that plan with some friends who
Hmm.
you're close to, so you can be like, I'm burned out and I don't know what to do. And they'll be like, well, let me pull up that Google Doc with your list of shit that you can't remember that you wrote. And and read that shit to you. So like create a burnout safety net and ask for your community's help in engaging with it when you
Yeah.
can. That'd be my thing.
And if
So yeah.
you are having trouble creating, create with other people. Because the
Mm-hmm.
creative time that we've spent together has vastly increased my ability to get stuff done. Just
Yay.
saying.
And we're gonna
So
have that creative time this Wednesday.
we will, and we'll be able to do writing and drawing and have a good time chatting
Yeah. Yeah.
or listening to music or both.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. All right, y'all. This has been Cartabus and Rawiyah with Witchy Shit and Mangalit. It has been a pleasure as always, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.